What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 13 matchup of the 2024 NFL season on the road against AFC North Division rival the Cincinnati Bengals. Everyone that I told last week not to panic after a loss to the Browns on the road in a short week in a snow game. I told everyone the sky was not falling, do not panic, we'll be okay. Everyone calling for Russell Wilson to get benched. I think after today they will see a bit of a difference. Granted, it was a team playing against, the Bengals, not the best defense in the world. They are only a 4-win team right now for a reason. That being said, they have scored for over 30 points 4 times this season and lost. 4 losses with 30-plus points for the Bengals. Pittsburgh goes in there and gets a win in a crazy, stunning shootout full of big plays, defensive touchdowns, big offensive plays, blocked field goals, momentum shifts, all kinds of craziness. Pittsburgh goes and gets the win 44-38. Do not adjust the volume on your phones. I did say Pittsburgh scored 44 points in this game. That is the most since 2018. This was the most points and offensive yardage we have had in any game in 6 years, since November of 2018. Really, really crazy game overall. Offensively, I love the strategy. They had Russell Wilson keeping the ball in his hands a lot, extending plays, getting out of the pocket when he had to, not taking a lot of damage, throwing a lot of checkdowns. Russell Wilson was looking for a lot of short slants, a lot of kind of extended plays where it was like extended screens to the running backs. It was a lot of like running backs kind of just coming out and kind of bootlegging out to the side for short dump-offs. It was a lot of getting the tight ends involved. It was a lot of short dumps over the middle of the field. We saw Najee Harris, we saw Jalen Warren, we saw Cordero Patterson all get involved in the pass game on short dump-offs, especially in the middle. We saw 3 tight ends getting involved in the passing game, in the short slants and dump-offs in the middle of the field. Russell Wilson, looking short middle to the tight ends, got us a lot of positive plays in this game. Also looking down the middle a lot on extended plays for Calvin Austin, which I like. 10 different wide receivers getting involved. This is the kind of offense we were looking for. Conservative yet positive down the field. Looking for those quick plays. Taking the pressure off the offensive linemen. Doing the extended run plays with the short passes. Again, 3 running backs. 3 different tight ends. Many different receivers. 10 total targets. Russell Wilson benefiting majorly on offense from this. Still too many penalties, and we'll talk about those. But overall, the getting the ball out of Russell's hands quick and letting Russell kind of get out of the pocket when he needed to worked out for us big time. This game was another call for why we didn't need another big-name wide receiver. Mike Williams not getting involved today, but you saw many different guys getting the ball in their hands. We'll talk about that with the stats. Offensive line, big-time plus today. Over on defense, 38 points allowed. Pittsburgh's offense overall got 4 touchdowns and 3 field goals, and then 1 defensive touchdown. Allowing 38 points to the Bengals. Again, the Bengals are not, the offense is not their issue. They have a high-powered offense. Joe Burrow's an elite quarterback. Chase Brown has come on to be the best rookie running back in the NFL this year, alongside Tyrone Tracy. But Chase Brown's been great for the Bengals. Very, very good, underrated back. You got one of the best combos in the league with a healthy Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Underrated Mike Gesicki, Joseph Osha, good third receiver. You've got plenty of good guys on that offense that are hard to cover. And we knew they were going to come out and score points. I didn't know about 38. 7 of that was on a defensive touchdown as well. Bengals come down on the first possession, get an interception. I'm not going to blame Russell for that pick. We'll talk about it with his stats. But Russell throws a pick 6 on the opening possession. Pittsburgh gets down 7-0. And from there, it's just touchdown, 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 back and forth. Pittsburgh conservatively getting chunk plays. The Bengals getting really quick chunk plays, gashing us on runs early and then passes late. So it goes down the field back and forth on both sides. Getting big touchdowns both ways. So 44-38. The defense, I don't think, is as good as their top 9 status says it is. We've got the players. We've got the big names. The difference here is Pittsburgh manages to get timely turnovers and field position reversals on their big plays. They allow 31 points on defense plus a defensive touchdown. So 31 points on defense allowed, but they do get several turnovers. They get 2 forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries. You get an interception down in the Bengals zone. You get a fumble recovery for a touchdown. on defense, you score. So the defense make those timely plays to make it just enough where it's not, bang, 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 back and forth. Pittsburgh gets those timely plays with 3 big turnovers in this game. That being said, man, you should not have to get 520 yards on offense and 44 total points and still be down to your last possession, having to get a first down to win the game. That's a lot. The defense needs to fix the penalties big time. We'll talk about that. And just allowing those chunk plays. Our zone is not very good. The shallow zones today against guys as good as T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, you can't allow Joe Burrow to have time to find guys in the zone. When you have physical receivers that are that good at finding the zone and a quarterback that's got that kind of arm, your zone's going to get beat up. When Pittsburgh did get ahead by 10 points in the second half, they were allowing deeper zones, which wound up being even worse for us. You would think those would allow less plays. Bengals just 5-play drives, chewing us apart on 20-yard plays over and over again. When they went man, didn't do much better. Early on, Chase Brown gashing him for a big, long touchdown play. Well, a play down to the 1, and then a touchdown on the next play. And then one-on-one, Cam Sutton and Joey Porter Jr. had a rough day in man. We'll talk about the stats here. Russell Wilson on offense, his best day of the year. Again, those of you guys trying to kick Russell Wilson out because he lost one game where he looked pretty good in a snow game, in a competitive division game, shut up, sit down. We saw that Russell Wilson had a great game, being more conservative, checking down at the right time, still slashing the team on some big plays. 29 of 38, just 9 incompletions on 38 passes. 29 of 38, 413 yards. Again, the most since 2018, since Big Ben, before he retired. 29 of 38, 413 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. The 1 interception was on the first drive of the game. Wilson was throwing it out to George Pickens on a slant. Pickens came out of his break, had a little stumble, was trying to get separation. The cornerback, Cam Taylor-Britt, took Porter on the helmet, or not Porter, I'm sorry, took Pickens on the helmet and pushed him down and then jumped the route and got the pick 6. I'm going to call that a pass interference or at least a hold. I would say illegal hands to the face probably, because Cam Taylor-Britt had to put his hands up on the face mask, on the helmet, push him down. That was definitely a penalty. Don't know why they didn't call it. They called a bunch of other ones. Pittsburgh was penalized with 9 accepted penalties and at least 5 more declined. So 14 total penalties on Pittsburgh today, 9 accepted. The Bengals had at least 10 penalties accepted, plus a few more declined on them as well. So we're looking at about like 30 penalties in this game in total, probably over 20 accepted. What a freaking day for the refs to throw flags. That being said, the 1 pick wasn't Russell's fault. The 3 touchdowns were excellent. One was on a short out play to Pickens, who took kind of like a screenplay, got around a few good blocks, broke a tackle to get into the end zone. Another one was on a beautiful slant on a nice route run to get separation by Calvin Austin, who caught a nice touchdown in the end zone on a physical play. The 3rd touchdown was a nice extended play where Russell Wilson got out of a sack, got to the outside, extended the play, and found a wide open Pat Freiermuth on a middle of the field, sit down in the zone for a touchdown. So 3 nice touchdowns, and the pick wasn't on him. But 413 for Russell Wilson. He is our quarterback. He's our quarterback for the season. He might be our quarterback beyond. I know he's getting older. I know you've got a young asset in Justin Fields, who did get the nice last first down of the game to finish things out. But Russell Wilson's been on fire. He now is, 4-1 as a Pittsburgh Steelers starter? Is he 4-1 now or 5-1? I think he's 4-1, and the only loss was a close game. You got to feel pretty good about Russell Wilson. Najee Harris had a really nice game overall here. 16 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown. Could have had a lot more. Actually went out, caught a pass where he was wide open, tried to get outside of his blockers, and stumbled all of a sudden and looked like he was gimping or something was wrong with his leg, it seemed like. And then they said he went to the sidelines and got oxygen. He was out for a couple series and then came back in. So I don't know what happened, if he just got out of breath, if he was hit the wrong way on a previous play, if he stumbled on the turf or something. I don't know what happened, but he was both catching the ball and running really with alacrity and getting a lot of physical runs and getting a lot of nice short passes, breaking tackles, making them longer plays. Najee, again, 16 for 75 and a touchdown on the ground, plus 6 catches for 54 yards in the air as well. Again, this was the game plan, was get Najee in space, running the ball and receiving, the short checkdowns, taking the 3 or 4 yard checkdown, turning those into between 8 to 12 yard plays, making it, first downs. on some short plays. Jalen Warren also had like 50 yards receiving as well. Didn't do much on the ground, but had a lot of good broken tackles in the open field. Sitting down in the middle of the field, finding spots in the zone, taking 3 to 5 yard passes, and converting them for first downs. Najee overall, about 130 total yards. Could have had more if he didn't go out for a few series. Great game for him, big positive. George Pickens, let's talk about him real quick. He led the team today with 3 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown, including, again, taking the screen, breaking a tackle, getting in the end zone. Good play there. Also got a 39-yard one-on-one play down the field. Beautiful play on that. So 2 really nice plays there. But Pickens, 2 giant penalties. One of which was after a first down, dropping the ball on a defender to taunt him, which then got us the first down but took us back 15 yards, halting our momentum. And then another play was, what was the other one? He had something else where he was he caught a nice first down and then was screaming at somebody, and then got taken back the other way. I kind of forget the intricacy on the second penalty. But the guy for being an absolute physical beast, a man on the field among boys, a guy who was more physical and better with his body than most any corner he's going against in the entire NFL, is such a child when it comes to being a wide receiver. Keep your head in the game. He's letting guys that are physical. We talked about this with the Browns last week, where he got pulled out of the play to go push a guy into the freaking stands last week when we needed him to be in the end zone to catch the Hail Mary. This week, he's getting positive plays downfield. He's making excellent plays, and then taunting or screaming or talking or throwing hands to the face on guys after the play. You've made your play. You're talking with your play on the field. Make the deep catches downfield. Out-physical these guys and shove it in their face as a receiver. Don't do these things after the play to get penalties, to allow yourself mentally to be taken out of the play, to give up on effort on plays, to stop running your route, to taunt after the play. You're taking the offense back and you're negating your own success. For as much of a physical monster as this man is on the field, he is a 9-year-old off the field, needs to be disciplined. You can't afford to take him out of the game. He's too good and too much better than his opponents and too much better than our other receivers to take him out of the game. So you can't hurt yourself. You can't cut off your nose to spite your face, but you've got to discipline him. He needs fined. He needs screamed at. He needs to be disciplined somehow. That's not going to hurt our team. That's going to get through to his head. He's young and stupid, and he's way too talented and way too good to be hurting this team and hurting his own plays every time. 2 massive penalties. Grow up, George Pickens. You're too good for this. Going on to other guys. Pat Freiermuth, one of the biggest days he's had in a while. 6 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Again, people said Russell Wilson wasn't a middle-of-the-field guy. Today he was, and it showed how good he can be when he uses the middle of the field. Those slants were massive today. So many guys involved. We saw a big broken tackle into a first down for Darnell Washington. We saw Freiermuth with a big slant in the middle of the field for a touchdown, sitting down in the zone beautifully. We saw 2 nice plays downfield for Calvin Austin, including a touchdown on a dime in the middle of the field for Russell Wilson. Good route, good catch from Calvin Austin, who did go out with a head injury later in the game. Took 2 rough hits in this game. Went down with an injury early, came back in, got hit again on a short pass, and went down. We need him back because Russell Wilson and he are starting to vibe. Russell's using Pickens. Russell Wilson is using Calvin Austin in the middle of the field, and Austin is making the most of those contested catches. He's getting separation at the point of the route and then catching contested balls at the point of the ball. He is making big plays week after week now. That's 3 consecutive games with a deep ball or a touchdown or both. I want Austin healthy, and I want more opportunities for Calvin Austin. But yeah, Washington, big first down. We saw Michael Pruitt, the 4th tight end who's been hurt. He came back in with a really nice middle of the field play. Pat 6 for 68. We saw Van Jefferson get a 44-yard play on an extended play from Russell Wilson where he takes a slant. So beautiful stuff there. I also want to say, and again, I already talked about penalties on both sides of the ball. That's going to go for offense and defense. 14 total, 9 accepted, way too many. We've talked about George Pickens. We'll talk about the other guy on defense in a second. Offensive line, big plus today. You allowed some good runs. You got your quarterback pretty clean. Only 1 sack on a Russell Wilson slide, so no sacks given up by the offensive line. Really good blocking downfield. I want to give in particular, and I love Zach Frazier. He gets a plus today. Sayamalu, just one penalty, played pretty well overall. All 5 guys were good. I want to give one particular shout out to a guy I've been very, very hard on so far this season, Broderick Jones, who's had a bad preseason and a bad regular season. But today, every time that he was out there, overall sealed the edge nicely to get Russell Wilson outside. Also was pulling nicely on pulling plays. He was allowing running backs to catch balls in the flat and get down the field. 3 or 4 really nice pull plays from Broderick Jones. Also, twice trying to pull aside and mentor George Pickens, telling him, don't be a bonehead, use your head. Mentor, again, blocking on the outside nicely, pulling nicely, mentoring nicely for a young player who's acting stupid. Thank you, Broderick Jones, for stepping up mentally and physically in this game, because mentally he's had his issues as well. Let's get to the defense before I go too long here. A bunch of splash plays. For as bad as 38 points is, 31 on defense, you have to give credit to this defense for stepping up in big moments. TJ Watt with a sack and a half in this game, 1.5 sacks. One of those sacks was a strip and a forced fumble, so a sack and a half and a forced fumble for TJ. That was recovered by Preston Smith, who's been around the ball consistently, had a blocked field goal last week, has had some batted balls, has had a couple sacks, so he's got a fumble recovery in this game. Preston Smith for a 7th-round pick was a genius pickup for Omar Khan. Bravo, Omar Khan. Preston Smith fumble recovery. Cam Hayward, big game. Gets a sack in this game, gets a tackle in the backfield in the running game in this game, flattens a running back. So tackle for a loss in the run game, sack in the pass game, and a batted ball that winds up resulting in an interception. He bats a ball that T. Higgins then gets redirected and has to tip, which results in a Dante Jackson interception. So sack, batted ball for a pick, and the tackle in the backfield for Cam. Big day for him. Peyton Wilson, once again, big day. Had the big interception in the Ravens game to help seal that game for us. And then in this game, Peyton Wilson gets the fumble recovery from Nick Herbig. So Nick Herbig gets around the edge, gets a sack and a forced fumble. And then Peyton Wilson gets that fumble recovery for the touchdown. That was the one that halted the momentum of the Bengals and gave us a 2-score lead that put us ahead. So Herbig, sack, forced fumble, Wilson, fumble recovery, touchdown. Keanu Benton's also got 0.5 sacks in this game. And Deshaun Elliott, the best gap reader and downhill tackler on the team, 7 tackles in this game. Negatives go to Patrick Queen, who had a hard time in the zone. Also couldn't cover it all. Gesicki and a couple other of the inside guys like Yosavash were abusing him in this game, so bad game for Queen. Bad game for Cam Sutton. Got beat on 2 different slants, one for a touchdown, one should have been a touchdown. And then Joey Porter Jr., what a bad game for him. 4 enforced penalties and 2 others declined. He had 6 total either hands to the face, holding, or pass interference. 6 total penalties on him. 2 declined, 4 picked up, 4 enforced. And one of which wasn't really his fault. It was incidental contact on both guys. But one was a really bad downfield hold. One was a ball in the back of the end zone that was uncatchable that he still held on. Just 4 awful penalties. Really, I mean, out of the 6 that were called on him, 5 were indefensible. 1 you could say wasn't a penalty. 5 were. And 3 of those 5 were accepted on us. Big chunk plays, putting the other team at the 1-yard line, holding in the end zone. Again, the guy's got talent. The guy's got energy. The guy's got physical body. He's got good hands. But he holds more than anybody, and it's getting called more and more week after week. I've called him out now for 3 consecutive games, and this was the worst game of his career. He really got targeted today, and they abused him on it. Abused him completely. So Sutton, Queen, and Porter were bad overall today. Special teams, Chris Boswell, 3 of 4, had 1 blocked. His 1 miss was a blocked kick. So kudos on the block to the Bengals. 1 punt today. Corliss Waitman only had 1 punt. That was a 38-yard punt that was down inside the 20, so Waitman not getting much work. Our offense doing a lot. Special shout-out to Miles Killebrew, who had 3 special teams tackles today, really getting good penetration on the kick and punt returns. So Pittsburgh overall, after that bad, the world is ending, bench and fire everyone game last week that I told you guys to calm down on, Pittsburgh now goes up against a very good offense, a top 5 offense in the league, and goes and gets a divisional win on the road. So Pittsburgh wins in the division, gets a win on the road, gets another game advantage over the Bengals, and the Ravens are now playing against Philadelphia in a very tough game right now. They could gain us another half game as well. So Pittsburgh gets to 9-3 after a divisional win on the road. Feels very good. Tell me in the comments down below what you think, who stood out to you positively and negatively. Lots to talk about in this game. I know this was long, but we had a lot to cover. Pittsburgh now at 9-3. Tell me in the comments what stands out to you, and please like, share, and subscribe to these videos for more Steelers deep dives. I'll see you next week.